welcome everybody. Well, the conventional wisdom with stories is start at the beginning, but in my opinion that's pretty boring, so we're actually going to start at the end today. Right here on my finger we have what is called an eternity ring, and it's a very popular style of ring. It's also one of the more advanced techniques that I've been working on recently. It's advanced in the sense that it requires a whole lot of precision with a file, which is one of the oldest tools in the history of the world. You have hammers, and then it's pretty much files after that. So I was doing some precision filing exercises using round brass rod, and as mundane and as boring as that sounds, it's actually really demanding and it forces you to develop your hand-eye coordination on a very, very fine level. So I started out with brass rod and I made spheres, and then I made capsules, and then I graduated to doing rectangles and squares, and let me tell you, keeping things parallel and perpendicular is not easy. From there, I started to hate my life a little bit more, so heck, why not? Let's do triangles. And while punishing, it was also really satisfying when I got it right. So once I completed those exercises, my mentor said, all right, I think you're ready to do fishtail. So I started practicing the traditional fishtail setting. This involves taking silver rod or whatever metal you prefer. I had silver on hand, so that's what I used. And you sculpt each of these cups individually. One of my Belgian friends called it delicate like lace, which I really enjoyed. I was tickled by that. So this eternity ring on my finger was actually made from one solid piece of silver wire. It was a thicker gauge wire that I bent into shape and then evenly divided into 24 individual slots. And that's what ended up being 24 seats for stones. So with the skills that I cultivated in those exercises, I am now able to completely handmade make a ring that is this delicate. But this is already the second one that I've made. The first one was a little bit less delicate, a little bit more clunky, but the more you do things, the better you get, right? So I'm a glutton for punishment. I like to do them many times. And my mentor suggested, hey, next one, you should do in gold. And I thought, you know what? I should. So when I was about 30% of the way through this ring, I had a silicone mold made, and then I had 4 cast in gold, 2 in 18 karat yellow gold, and 2 in 18 karat pink gold. Having learned my lesson from the first eternity ring that I did, this time I was much more particular about calibrating my stones to very fine tolerances. If you want to understand more about calibration and also how you can take a very small budget and add value to what's being sold in the gem market, you should head over to Gemology for Schmucks, where I explain how calibration works, how you can get started with the smallest possible budget. This is something that pave artists and jewelers of many varieties will be needing forever. So it's a great place to start if you are on a low budget, or if you just need an opportunity to cultivate your eye, because you get to look at a lot of stones when you're dealing with 2 millimeters. But back to my ring. I had the 4 cast, and I have so far set 3 of them. The first 18K yellow I decided to set with ruby. I think there's a really aggressive synergy between that bright yellow and the bright red of the ruby. From there I went on and did the first pink gold piece, and I used somewhere in between cornflower and royal blue sapphire. The cooler tone of the pink seemed to fit better for me. The next pink gold piece I decided to mix ruby and sapphire. See what happens, and I actually quite like the effect. So now I've got 3 that are finished and ready for whomever is interested in them. In 4 years, these will be the first pieces that I will have offered publicly for sale. They are all in size 6.5 US, which conveniently enough is the size of my pinky and also one of the more common female sizes. And there's one more 6.5 in 18K yellow gold. And the plan is to take these bright green tsavorite, which is a green variety of garnet. It's a fresh, what you might call Kelly green or Irish green, going with that bright yellow. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to happen. And typically, this isn't really my style of jewelry, because I'm a very aggressive person, and I'm just as likely to climb a lamppost as I am to sit down and have a nice cup of tea. Those are not contrasts. I'm actually capable of doing both. But the reason an eternity ring is difficult for someone such as myself is because there are stones all around the outside, and this is a delicate style of ring. So I wear this because I want to know the full life cycle of this ring. If somebody's going to destroy this ring, it's probably going to be me. And having worn this now for several months, what I can say is this. While it is a delicate setting, if you wear them in a stack, particularly a metal-only ring with the eternity ring, it spreads out the surface area, both making the ring more comfortable and more durable. It's less likely for any outside pressure to distort the ring if you're wearing more than one. It's also less likely to come off of your finger because the extra surface area provides tension and leverage. So you have to take off one ring at a time. And it allows you to change when your whims change, like me. So as they say, further up and farther in, this project is just one of those at the beginning. Who knows where we'll go? But keep watching, subscribe if you haven't already, because there's more coming, and not so far away. My goal is to bring gemstone-based jewelry into the world, stones with stories, and pieces that have soul. There's too many products out in the world. We need more treasure. So if you agree with me, leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.